What is going on today, guys? Evan Aldo here. Wanted to show you guys what I've been doing. So not too much different. We're going to talk about alts. That's the important thing we want to talk about. The possibility of them potentially bleeding a little bit more into, the next month. We'll talk about that. We'll see what happens here. I'll get into it in just a second. But ultimately, the first thing I want to show you guys, at least on BYDFI, your funding rate is getting a little bit better. That's a pretty good funding rate for AVAX, and then we can move on to Ethereum. That's a high funding rate for Ethereum, but some of them are a little bit better. Like, I'm just curious what the Bitcoin was. So that's not bad, compared to a lot of other exchanges. Everybody, a lot of degenerates going along. BYDFI is a decent option for going along. Maybe do the shorts in exchange that has a much higher funding rate, such as BloFin. That could be a good strategy. Don't want to chill that or talk about that too much, but the links are down below. With both of those exchanges, you get 10% off, 10% off and 10% cash back on your first deposit up to 1K with BYDFI, and then 2K with BloFin. So check those out down below. In addition, if you want one free month in the Discord, if you sign up to either of those exchanges down below, deposit at least $100, and then open support ticket in the Discord with your UID, give you one free month there. So let's get right into it. So big thing, a lot of these alts are hitting big places. This probably will be at least somewhat of a jump. Now, we could start with Bitcoin a little bit. Your reverse head and shoulders. It's a reverse head and shoulders. I was talking to Nightshade about this earlier. And shout out to Nightshade. He's done a good job in the Discord. You get his analysis too if you join. We were talking about this earlier, and it was like, you want to reverse head and shoulders when you're hitting support or something, like maybe down here. When you're just in no man's land, you don't really, reverse head and shoulders not the strongest thing. It's true, but we are in such that crazy bullish environment that it may play out in your high time frames. Still look pretty good in terms of that money flow on the weekly. So, you could argue, I don't have a spider line at 90K, but I could see that being a potentially decent place for a drop down, as we approach New York Open in a couple hours here, trigger wave, kind of to the downside. So yeah, potentially, coming down there, but you might pull it off, because if you look at this 90 minute, look at that trigger wave kind of forming on the 90 minutes. There's always going to be that, bull and bear case. And in this environment, you probably, at least with that funding rate that I just showed you on BYDFI, you probably want to take the damn long here. You probably want to, give this a shot if you're not already long. It's pretty low risk, high reward if we can get up to 94K. The other thing that could happen here, we've been just straight up. Let's say we bounce around, I don't know. That's where alts could come into play a little bit. Ethereum, a lot of alts. Now, right now, they're getting, hammered a little bit. The obvious thing here is head and shoulders, my least favorite pattern, but if you break downward, then you're back down to 2,800. There's that possibility. There's going to be always that possibility. You're losing this big pocket right here. It looks like you're going to break through it and get to the next one, 35. Didn't quite make it there. Pretty anticlimactic. I had to take profit at 35. That's okay. Anyway. And then your money flow kind of starting to come down. So your big scene of the crime is going to be right around, 2,800. So, a lot of liquidity there could retest that, and then money flow coming up on the 3-day there, which still looks pretty good. So your higher time frames still look pretty good here. And then, I wouldn't discount the 2-week so far, although that could probably still, it could probably still confirm this, even if you do come down to 2,800. So, but it's still a rare, kind of real good bullish sign there. It's still a real good bullish sign. If you look at money flow coming out here on the hourly, it's concerning. It's a little bit concerning. You're not quite there yet in the red. You touched it, but you didn't get there. Not there on the 90 minute. Also, you could kind of compare that 90 minute. That was a big jump up. This one, even if you got like a tenth of that, you're coming up to 3,500. So there's that possibility, but I see kind of the bearish case too, obviously. I see the bearish case when you analyze this in detail, in depth here and all that. So, it is what it is. I could see, if I were to be shorting something, I probably would short ETH, because you're kind of starting to, come back down on this, you might make a lower low against Bitcoin. Here's what, I wanted to talk to you guys about. Where was that trigger wave? Apologies if I'm moving through the time frames a little fast here. trigger wave on the daily, that one brought you down. The next one, that's your case for 0.03, which is a huge area. A lot of smart people have kind of talked about that being a kind of the worst case scenario. I mean, there's anything could happen as always, but that's one of the like big freaking points where if it hits that, people will probably buy ETH like crazy. 0.03, right around there. So can you come down to that point? You absolutely can. Will you? It's hard to say. I mean, you got your new bull div here in the 2 week. That looks good. Confirms in 4 days. That could still confirm, and you could come down farther. You got another FOMC meeting in about a month. Maybe that'll help us out some more. Most likely will be a 25 basis point decrease. But I mean, look, DCAing, maybe if you're trying to convert some Bitcoin to ETH, DCAing for the next 4 to 8 weeks probably makes the most sense here. I mean, how much more are you going to go down from where we are right now? Maybe 16, 15%. So not a lot. So ultimately, right there, and that's that kind of anchor wave or whatever. So that's ETH versus Bitcoin. So, it is a little concerning when you go to others versus Bitcoin. This could take out the damn low. You got a blood diamond there on the daily. I mean, when you look at this, when you zoom out on this too, that was the bottom there. That was a big kind of drop down. So if we were to do, a similar situation, you probably would drop down more. I mean, maybe we're right here, December of 2020. We're a month, even November here. Okay, end of November. Maybe we're a few weeks ahead of schedule. Then end of next year, beginning in January, that's where you start to really, jump up. So, just being as objective as possible in the technicals on this, yes, you absolutely may, come down a little bit more. You may come down a little bit more here. And yeah, but things that could save the day, maybe the weekly here, but that money flow is not as good. So yeah, it does look a little concerning for alts, but that DCA over the next 4 to 8 weeks seems like it makes kind of the most sense here for this to potentially come down some more. Kind of depressing for alts still, but it is what it is. Some of them are, God, they're fun. Some of them are really starting to hit hard here, and then we could get to just looking at Bitcoin dominance. That's another indicator. How much higher does this go? Ooh, did we make a new high with this? Almost. So yeah, almost made a new high. I think we're messing with that. Let me draw that point because that was the previous high. That's important to keep your eye on. Yeah, messing with that point. It does kind of look like we're going to come up a little bit more, maybe 62. I don't think he would come up much above 61, 62, but anything is possible here. And this is kind of coming down. Yeah, I mean, it's in between. I mean, it could be topping out. That money flow looks good here in that 2 weeks. So yeah, you might have some more. You might have some more for next month or so for Bitcoin dominance here. Let's see. So moving on to some big boys, some good ones we were talking about this morning, in our group chat in the Discord. We were talking about hitting this point. I was talking about jumping off of this point. So, so far, spider lines, they work most of the time. So potentially jumping off here. Trigger wave right there. I like Sol. So, ultimately something of this nature, maybe up to 260 if things get crazy. I mean, it's weird with alts. Some of them, will jump up. Some of them won't. I'm seeing like weird reflections in my window. I don't know if there's ghosts or what. I'm just kidding. Anyway, so let's see here. And then, yeah, so it could go either way. If you could hold this level, hold that 202, you should be able to go farther, but that daily is concerning. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of tough to say right now. A little bit tough to say. Matic too. Hitting this point right there. Matic is hitting that kind of big point right over there, trying to jump off. This could be something. It's not the best with money flow, but it could. I could see short term at least a little jump up. Matic's one that I do have a long-term swing kind of long in. If you want info on that, that's one in the Discord. I have high confidence on that because the thing is, do we really want this below, the low we made? We want this to frickin' hold, 29 cents. Do we want Matic to go below 29 cents? No, that's really depressing. So, bleeding against Bitcoin some more, okay, I'll take that. But going below 29 cents, it's rough. 3 weeks looks good. So, I mean, if we do come down farther for a lot of these, it's probably not going to be that bad. Maybe back down to 31, we'll see. But I think Matic could. I mean, you're seeing jumps off of random coins, and you may continue to see a new coin jump every week or two for the next, and I mean like coins you've heard of, not like some, pump and dump random thing no one's heard of, like coins you've heard of and know, for next year you may see jumps like this one, back down to 16 cents for Crow. That's a pretty big area. You got your big jump up, your 200% jump up. Now you had your 30% drop down. You should get a little bit of relief here. So some of these, there could be a lot of good, like if you wanted to go real low risk, high reward for a lot of these guys, something of this nature, 5 to 1 even, it's possible. Sometimes they find a way to get you out, but we scared a lot of people off maybe with the drop down. Now we got a little bit at least. Look at that jump up right there. If we could get even just half of that, you get back to 23 cents. Hopefully 27. I mean, the fact that we broke above 16 is big, and holding this would be big. Your next place would be 27, then up to 38. There's a lot of stuff. Potential doubles, more could be going. Another one that's looked really good lately, trigger wave here on the 3-week, Injective. It's a newer coin. A lot of stuff looks damn good, trigger wave right there, but the time frame that's even more important, the 3-day, nice jump up to potentially, $40 and infinity and beyond. I mean, this could, who knows where this could end up. It could end up, there's not too many sell walls, it's a price discovery mode forever. 155 maybe, bull market peak, who knows? I mean, not impossible to get up to those points, maybe even more. Cardano, trying to, bust through, 60 cents, good place to reject from as it's done so far. Trying to jump up, around that 50-cent area is pretty big. And I do think, Cardano, just like a lot of alts right now, buying the dip makes a lot of sense for, for these, potentially coming up a little bit more. If we look at Cardano versus Bitcoin here, and then, the monthly is big. That bull div, I'll take that. I'll take a bull div on the monthly. I'll gamble on a bull div on the monthly that Cardano will outperform Bitcoin for a good amount of time. At 600 Satoshis right now, I'll gamble on that. Maybe you come down a little bit lower, but I think there's a good shot this could have bottomed. We'll see what happens over the next month. Some of them could have bottomed, some of them will go lower, we'll see. Sui, that's rejecting from kind of a big point. Another one, that and Injective are two ones that I think will do pretty well. Trying to break through this next big point is going to be around $5, I would say. Weekly still looks good. Nothing looks too bad as of yet. I think you'll generally see continuation probably over the next 11 to 12 months. And then, I don't know, I was looking at ApeCoin. You guys know I like to look at that. That had a big jump up. First it was ApeCoin jump, and then the next one that kind of went crazy was Crypto.com. And like I said, I think we'll see old coins that we've heard of that kind of forgotten about a little bit. I think they'll have their time. They'll have their weeks here and there. Coming down a little bit, not much to say about this really. I mean, hopefully you'd hold that level. This one's kind of weird, honestly. Hopefully you'd make a break upward from that reverse head and shoulders, get to $1.40, and back up to $1.71. The other thing too, total 3 just as a whole, this is all the altcoins minus Tether kind of as a whole, trying to jump up a bit higher to 900 billion market cap, and then some targets with fib levels. I mean, the highest I could see this probably going up to maybe $3 trillion market cap for that, but that would be pretty crazy. I mean, it'll probably be somewhere between 1.5 to 2.3 trillion or something, with the high end being, 3 trillion. And then, the big question people are obviously want to ask is, when do I sell? And I think, on this 3-week, this was a pretty good place to at least start DCAing out maybe, here, that kind of high wave right there, and then that kind of area there. This was different. I mean, but once you get this it wasn't the actual top here, but I think the next time this could be the actual top. It could take time to, if you draw this out, let's just see how this could. I mean, this could be middle to later next year that you finally get that high wave there. So we could have time, and if you compare it to more of this bull market, you topped out in January, the 1st of January. So maybe it's January of January 2026 even. So we have time. I think we got time, especially with the new presidency and a lot of those things. So yeah, guys, if you're interested in trading, check out BYDFI down below. Check out BloFin. Check out Bybit as well. The links are in description below. Especially with BloFin and BYDFI, you get 10% off. Supposedly, hopefully for life, with my link down below, 10% off your fees. But you know, so it seems too good to be true, so I don't want to make that promise. But yeah, check it out, and then check out the Discord down below if you guys are interested. All right, guys, have a good one. Goodbye.